Hello everyone, welcome to Circuit Masterclass. If you want to learn electrical engineering in a simple and practical way, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll understand today's topic step by step with easy explanations and clear illustrations. So, without wasting any time, let's get started.
Power direction comparison discrimination. So far, in all the unit protection schemes we've discussed, we've been comparing either current or voltage between the two ends of the protected section. But there's another way to determine whether a fault is inside or outside the protected zone. And instead of comparing current or voltage, this method compares the direction in which electrical power is flowing. Let's understand this with a practical example. Imagine we have a transmission line connecting substation P and substation Q. This transmission line is the section we want to protect. First, consider normal operating conditions. Suppose 50 megawatts of power flows from substation P to substation Q. Power enters the transmission line at P, travels through the line, and leaves the line at Q to supply the connected load. Everything is perfectly healthy. Now let's change the situation. Suppose a fault occurs outside the protected line, somewhere beyond substation Q. Because the fault draws a large amount of power, the power flowing through our transmission line increases dramatically. Instead of 50 megawatts, suppose 300 megawatts now flows through the line. Notice something important. Although the magnitude of power has increased significantly, the direction of power flow has not changed. Power still enters the protected line at P and leaves the protected line at Q before reaching the external fault. So even though the current and power have become very large, the protected line itself is perfectly healthy. It is simply carrying fault power toward a fault located elsewhere. Now consider another situation. Suppose both substations have generating sources connected behind them and now a fault occurs inside the protected transmission line somewhere between P and Q. Immediately, both generating stations begin feeding the fault. Suppose 200 megawatts enters the protected section from substation P, while 150 megawatts simultaneously enters the protected section from substation Q. Notice what has changed. Earlier, power entered from one end and left through the other. Now power is entering the protected section from both ends simultaneously, because both sources are supplying the internal fault. There is no power flowing out of the protected section. This is a clear indication that the fault lies inside the protected zone. Now let's look at one final situation. Suppose substation Q does not have any generating source behind it. It only supplies local loads and therefore cannot contribute fault power. Now an internal fault occurs somewhere within the protected section. Substation P supplies the fault, so suppose 180 megawatts flows into the protected line from P. But at substation Q, since there is no source available, no power flows either into or out of the protected section. Again, this tells us something important. If substantial power is flowing into the protected section from one end, but there is no corresponding power flow at the other end, then the only possible explanation is that the power is being consumed by a fault somewhere inside the protected section. So, if we compare all four situations, we notice a very interesting pattern. During normal operating conditions and during an external fault, power simply passes through the protected section. It enters at one end and leaves at the other. But during an internal fault, power no longer passes through the protected section. Instead, power is drawn into the protected section from one end or from both ends to feed the fault. This difference in the direction of power flow forms the basis of power direction comparison discrimination. Now let's see how this idea is implemented in practice. To achieve this, we install directional relays at both ends of the protected section. One relay at substation P and another at substation Q. These relays do much more than simply measure the magnitude of power. They also determine the direction in which the fault power is flowing, whether the power is entering the protected section from that end or leaving the protected section. The directional information obtained from both relays is then compared to determine whether the fault lies inside or outside the protected zone. Now, let's focus on just one end of the protected line. Assume that the relay at substation P detects power flowing into the protected section. At that very same instant,
Only one of the following three situations can exist at the other end. First case, power is flowing out of the protected section at substation Q. This corresponds to either normal load conditions or an external fault. Since the protected section is healthy, tripping must be prevented. Second case, power is also flowing into the protected section at substation Q. This means that both substations are supplying power toward the same point inside the protected line. This can happen only when the fault is within the protected section. Therefore, both directional relays operate and both circuit breakers trip simultaneously, isolating the faulted section from the rest of the system. Third case, no power is flowing either into or out of the protected section at substation Q. This indicates that there is no generating source available at the remote end. If significant power is still flowing into the protected section from substation P, then that power can only be feeding an internal fault. In this situation, only the local circuit breaker at substation P trips, because there is no need to trip the breaker at the dead-end substation. This is the fundamental operating principle of power direction comparison discrimination. Rather than comparing current magnitude or voltage magnitude, this scheme compares the direction of fault power at the two ends of the protected section. By observing whether power simply passes through the protected equipment or is being drawn into it from one or both ends, the protection system can accurately distinguish internal faults from external faults and operate only when required. I hope this video has helped you understand the concept clearly. If you found it useful, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Circuit Masterclass. Don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos on power systems, protection, transformers, switchgear, transmission lines, and other electrical engineering topics. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. See you in the next lecture.